Hi there, Melanie, Create That's What I Do. Oh, how are you? Welcome to my channel. Hope all is well. Had to get my energy up. I was feeling a little bit like, after that first cup of coffee and a half, I was feeling a little like, eh. So, thinking about going outside. June 12th, 2026, Friday. I missed the food bank today because I got up kind of later. I can go on Monday. Uh, if I wanted to take note of this, but all who don't know, Government Canada, is it Government Canada? They issued a tax check, grocery check to help you out with the groceries. Low income people. That means disability income also. I don't know what it means for because I'm on disability. I'm on disability income, so that means disability. Yesterday I was at the Tim Hortons and this just arbitrarily mentioned this to this lady for some reason. I don't know why. And she didn't know. She didn't know that there was an issue. So I was like, "Well, are you low income?" She's like, "Yeah, I'm low income, but they're pensioners." So I'm not sure what that means. I'm like, "Well, I don't see why a pensioner wouldn't get a grocery check from Government Canada if your pension is in low income category." So that means us too. I guess it means everybody who's on in whatever the criteria is for low income. That's definitely us also, the disability checks. So there is a check. If you don't have direct deposit, y'all need to be checking your mailbox. I do not check. I do not check my mailbox every day, so I'm not quite sure. So that's just to mention right there. But it's also a little bit of like this blog thing, this video thing. It's a little bit of the recording of life, and my life, and things that happen, and maybe even, you never know, this might be a part of history too, in terms of the larger context of the world, right? Because it's 2026. So I went to this grocery store yesterday. Yeah, I did. A grocery store here in Toronto. One of them, Canada, is called Freshco. And I bought a package of ground beef. I'm like, oh, I'm going. So the grocery check is here. I checked my mailbox. I'm like, I'm gonna go buy some ground beef. Okay, I gotta show you this. I really gotta show you this. Hold on. My fridge is freezing food, the actual fridge, not the freezer part. So I turned it down. I managed to turn down. The knob was really stiff. I turned it down. It's still freezing the food. This in the fridge. It's been in my fridge, not the freezer. The fridge. This package of ground beef, they're calling a family pack. Take a close look at this. This was $18 at the Fresh Co. 18 bucks. They said 1,000 kg. I don't know. Hold up, let me see. I do not know what that is in pounds. Okay, this is $18. So if you take half of this is not even how a family pack used to be. A family pack used to be longer. So if I were to put this in half, one half of this, the smaller portion, and it says it right there, it's about $9 to $10. It's a little thing of ground beef. And this is medium ground beef. And they call it the value pack. 18 bucks. This is maybe going to be 2 meals for me at best. Okay? Once the meat shrinks, because it does when you fry the meat, it shrinks up, and it's not much. So I was like, I'm treating myself to some ground beef. Okay? Ground beef is now a treat, and steak definitely is. I can find an inexpensive steak, but they've sliced the steak so thin, and it's probably the toughest part of the steak, where I'm like, ugh. So I'm treating myself to some ground beef. I'm gonna make spaghetti. I'm not gonna use the regular tomato sauce. I'm actually gonna use Alfredo sauce, the ones in the bottle, and some spaghetti. That's what I'm making, and I couldn't figure out the vegetables, so I don't know, but I went and treated myself to some ground beef. Yeah, it's a treat. It's a luxury item at this point. With the cost of the groceries gone up in here in Canada, especially, stuff like ground beef is now a treat, like a luxury item for me, anyway. All right, it's the kind of thing about Canada that's so wild to me, still to this day. 3.25% milk. I'm like, huh? To this day, I've been trying to find out what's the regular milk here. Is it really 3.25? I don't know. Because they got the 1, they got the 0, they got the 2, and they have the 10, and they have the 3.25 milk. So I'm like, well, is the 10 cream or is it milk? I haven't really tried the 10 because I don't see the 10 that often. So I think the whole milk is the 3.25. But I could be wrong. I, I just taste more like it's the whole milk than say the 2% or the 1% or the lactose or the whatever free. It's wild the amount of choices of milk you have in Toronto in Canada. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna put this in the fridge. Hold on. So I treated myself to some irresistibles, grinds coffee at the store. It's good. I think I got the Italian or did I get the other one? It's $10.99. So those are big time treats. After that, I go to instant coffee, the cheapest I can find. That's pretty much it. And I'm not even a big instant coffee fan of anything, but because I don't think instant coffee, most of it hardly tastes like coffee. It tastes like something else. But coffee, it doesn't taste like. And that's when it just kind of tries to mimic a little bit of coffee. But to me, instant coffee, especially the cheapest instant coffee, it doesn't really taste like instant coffee it, at all. It doesn't taste like coffee, really, to me, at all. It just has like a little, maybe kind of like a flavoring of a little bit of coffee, like it's trying to copy the coffee or something, but it doesn't really taste like coffee. That's the deal. Hope you checked out my video on um, the needlepoint. Has some tips, tricks, things I've discovered working with the needlepoint, and also, you know, if you're interested, this could be something you really, really enjoy. I find the needlepoint super relaxing, very therapeutic, but there's a little bit of tension to the needlepoint, which keeps it interesting for me also, right? And I love the sound of the needle coming through the canvas, which I still get with the plastic canvas. So when the cloth is tight and you're pulling the needle through the thread, say like embroidery or other needlepoint, it makes a particular sound. But with the needlepoint, at times, the way the thread comes through the plastic canvas, and since I'm working in plastic canvas, it makes that same sound. And I really, really love that sound. And I find that sound very happy memories for me. Like good feeling comes from listening to that sound. And it's not music. It's not music. It's that needle coming through the fabric or the medium somehow that makes that particular sound. It's especially notable in embroidery. Embroidery. So it makes that really great sound. So I hope you check out the video and you know enjoy. I do intend to get to some more needlepoint uh, tutorials at some point. Some needlepoint tutorials. I started some Christmas work. So for me, I used to start Christmas in June, somewhere between June and July, my making. And then maybe towards the end of Christmas, I'll do a couple little things. Towards the beginning, sorry, of Christmas, make a couple of things. But typically for years, I would start my Christmas. I changed up and I decided to start making Christmas in June or July, or I would shop for Christmas presents around June, July. I haven't done that for a while now, so I've gone back to starting some Christmas projects in June. And there is such a thing as Christmas in July, by the way, for the kids. But I started making these things, items. You know, I was a busy single mom, and I didn't want to feel rushed, so rushed and hurried during to the Christmas um, holiday season, and wanting to make things. And now, if I don't make something around the Christmas time, it doesn't really kind of feel like Christmas. It's so bizarre. I don't know how that happened, but that's how that happened. It's like I tried one Christmas while I'm living here to not make something. It just didn't feel right. It's like Christmas is a crafty time. I have to make some things. So I started this Christmas stocking, and I'm going to reference this lady. She's from the YouTube. Her name is Han, HANJAN, Han Jan Crochet. I think she's English or something. She has a mosaic Christmas stocking, and she has another Christmas stocking on her uh, on her YouTube channel. She has tutorials, and she has beautiful mosaic sweaters. And I was just looking for something mosaic. I wanted to. I might have done this a long time ago, but I don't remember. I done made some things. I make my fair share of things, and I go, okay, I don't like it, or I'm just done with it. I may put it by the garbage. Somebody pick it up, or I'll put it downstairs in our building here. You know, but I've done. I make a lot of things, and then I forget I made that. Okay, because I don't have it anymore. And there's only so much crochet and things I'm gonna keep because I'm in a tiny space. So, you know, I could continue to keep making and have more and more things. I kind of don't want to get too cluttered or packed in with things. So I'm like, okay, what I want to do is I'm going to show you the stocking. I feel like I might have made this before. And what I'm going to do from there is I basically love the design, Han Jan Crochet on the YouTube, and maybe from there I'm gonna grab some mosaic patterns because she's basically, of course, she's giving you the method. You gotta get the pattern from I think she has Etsy shop, the patterns from Etsy shop. But basically, I'm just kind of following along, okay? Because I'm like, oh, I think she's in England and it's pounds or something like that. And I'm like, you know, what? Huh? The online trying to purchase, and for me, it's like, yeah, okay. Uh, I'm not doing that. Right? I did look at the pattern price, and I think it's very reasonable, but it's in pounds. So if you want to get the pattern, she's on Etsy, buy the pattern. I'm just basically going by the YouTube. Okay? That's pretty much it. I have some sock making ability skills, so I can kind of get the rest, the gist of it. You know, so I'm just basically getting the method, and then maybe after that, I'll try some other mosaic patterns in that stitch count for that type of width for some stockings. Maybe I'll self draft a Christmas stocking, what they call self draft, I guess. But excuse me, sorry, her tutorials are real clear, really, really clear. So if you zoom in, she's very clear. Her hands aren't in the way. She's slow enough for me. You can speed up or slow down the videos. I think you can. But her tutorials are, what she does show is, it's not a total tutorial, but what she does show is super clear. Like, her hands are not in the way. When you make tutorials, that's one of, to me, the most difficult things to do with crocheting or CB work or any type of work like that. It's your hands staying out of the way. So you got the right angle on the item you're making, and your hands aren't in the way. She did a beautiful job in that. And she's up close enough where you can zoom in to some degree and still very clearly see her tutorial. This is, to me, like one of the most challenging parts of a tutorial. Like, how do you keep your hands out the way so someone can see what you're doing, and hopefully it's clear enough, or, you know, so if someone zooms in, it's very clear for them. This is one of the challenging parts of making tutorials. I don't find making tutorials all that easy, but I enjoy the challenge when I get in the mood. Han Jan Crochet. So I started that. And if you don't know, I have filet crochet curtains that are pink and green and purple. I finally made a decision. I put the crochet curtains up. I couldn't decide what to do. I need to correct some errors on there, which I expected. It's my first time making these big, large curtains to finally get to finish the window. And I had some different colors. And then as I was making this stocking, oddly enough, this Christmas stocking, I was like, I'm going to make the borders around these curtains white or a crew. That's what I'm going to do. Because I have cubes in here, and I have parts of the cubes eventually where all I'm going to do is see the strip part of where the cube meets, right? So probably after I paint or do something else with the project, so you'll just be seeing the outline of the cubes, which is white. Once I find some other ways that I'm going to cover these cubes, I have quite a few ideas. So I'm like, well, that would pick that up in the curtains. Instead, I have purple around one section, green around one section, and I was like, I want to see if I like this. So I've had the curtains up. This is my mock put up of the filet crochet curtains to to see what's happening as in terms of the color. Do I like it there? I was only going to leave it up a week, but I think it's been a few weeks now, and I made the decision. I made the decision. I'm like, okay, I'm going to border out the pieces in white, and I'm going to border out these pieces in white. So just to give you a quick glimpse. Okay, I thought I paused this. Maybe not. Okay, I didn't pause it. So that's a quick glimpse, okay, of I thought I paused the video and then go to the camera, but I didn't pause it and then went to the camera. That's a quick glimpse of my curtains. It's kind of dark. I have something up. It's on the other side of the light time. The light's different right now, right? I get the morning sun, so it's afternoon. So it looks more darkish, right? Because the sun has moved. So yeah, that's what I decided. I'm going to border out those panels in one color, and I'm pretty sure it's going to be white. And that means I had to wash them a lot more, probably, But yeah, that's how that's going to go. Or I'm going to border them out in a crew. I think that is the decision. I was like, I don't know. And even up to last night, I was like, I don't know. So I started stocking, and I was saying to myself, I'm not going to start a project. I haven't finished the curtains. I haven't finished the tablecloth. I haven't finished the needlepoint. I haven't finished the knitted sock. I haven't finished this other pillow. I haven't finished this top that's supposedly knitting. I haven't finished the crochet shawl. I'm not starting another project. I'm just not. I haven't done any more tutorials, you know. And I'm like, okay, let me start this Christmas stocking. Oh, oh Lord, I just have this terrible habit of doing that. I'm recording, and then I go to get the project because I didn't bring it with me to where I'm recording at, and I'm like, oh, sorry. Please forgive me, okay? Just habit. I'll just walk. That is truly the habit. I don't live with anyone, so I don't have to say, oh, hold on, I'm going over there, or, even in my space, you wouldn't even need to really do that. You could continue talking. I don't think it would be rude. So hold on, let me get the project. All right. So this is the Christmas stocking, Han Jan Crochet. Okay. There's no affiliation. I don't know her. Okay. Just looking at the videos, because I don't know how these influencers do things, but I think I should have clarified that. I'm just using the pattern from her mosaic, because she has another one that has the Christmas trees. So I might try that. This is the cut out part for the heel, and this is the colors I decided to get. Okay, this patterns 100% acrylic. It's a little bit shiny, not like the Caron. It's not as shiny as the Caron shiny acrylic, but it's a bit shiny, soft, right? And I decided to go with that. Patton's Canadana or Canadiana 100% acrylic. One ball of this, one ball of that, two balls, and they had the Michaels for $7.99. Okay, this is a large part of, look, if you want to make arts and crafts, which I think is very important, because at the essence I truly believe all of us are creators, and that we, if you want to make things, uh, and there's a budget involved, there's an expense, right? So, and how to go about doing that, and saying, well, I can't do that, it costs too much money, because I've had my fair share of that narrative, that dialogue, okay? Like, oh, I can't do it. It's gonna, it's gonna cost too much money. It's gonna be like, I can't do it the way I want to. I don't want to do it unless I can do it like this. Or, and art therapy is a real thing, okay? It's a very real thing. And if you're in Toronto, you'll see this. Many of the food banks that have drop-in centers offer therapeutic art. They offer art where you can sit down, knit, crochet. Um, some places ceramics. CAMH has an art program. That's the Centers for Addiction and Mental Health. Art therapy is a real thing. Okay, and I think I don't know, was it last weekend or is it this weekend? CAMH has uh, their event also. I think the artists set up outside in front. I think that's over there at the Queen Street. I don't know. Maybe it's next month, but you might want to check that out. If you go early enough, they're set up out there. If you go too late, they already start packing up. Centers for Addiction and Mental Health does an art table set up once a year. Okay, so art therapy is a real thing, and I think if you deny yourself the love of creating, well, that's your thing. But if you're thinking, oh, I can't do it, I've gone through all of that, right? Even now, there's some struggle. I don't know if I can do that, or the money, right? So part of this channel is, it's my diary, it's information, it's a share, and largely also part of, look, you can make beautiful things without it having to be expensive. Yeah, maybe there's times it's expensive. You have to really tighten up your budget to make some things. Or other times it's like, well, it's going to cost you, but it's okay. So, you work it out. So here is it's a mosaic pattern that she has. This part is the toe, of course, as you can see. And this part's the heel. And this is, she's working, I think, on a 5.5 millimeter crochet hook, but I'm working on a 5.0. So when I do the cuff, sorry, I'll probably go down to a 4 when I do the ridging on the cuff. I don't know about the pattern, but I'm at the end of the repeat for this section. This is going to be the heel that I go back to. I'm going to repeat one more of these and see if it's more the length I want it to be, because this is not the length I want it to be. I don't want the leg part, I don't want it to be this short, obviously, because so I might do 2 more repeats or 1 more repeat, and I do think I have enough yarn. If you catch a sale, you have any other type of acrylic, they have acrylic there for, I think, $4.99 for my post. So it's any way you want to get it done, right? It could be many different colors. Stockings, or if you have extra yarn, you can probably figure out something, you add colors, and as I do a few more. But I was like, oh, this is going to be so cute with my curtains, right? Because it's in the same color. So like, once this gets a little longer, I'll see if I like the length, how long I'm going to make the cuff, follow her to her video, and come back in for um, putting in the heel. And the Christmas stockings are just a fun deal. Last year I did a needlepoint kit. Uh, I'll go through that. I forgot to put on the hoop or something, so I'll still have to do this. This year is a crochet, but I might do some needlepoint. So I got a book on cross stitch, and I decided to. There's some projects in there. I'm like, ooh, but I have the 14 count 8 cloth that has looks like I could see the holes in the cloth. Okay, I don't have to search for them; they're there. So I'm gonna try the 8 cloth next because they have some cute Christmas ornament ideals in this cross stitch book. But I'm gonna try the work in continental stitch. That's what I'm gonna do. So this is another thing. I'm gonna work at the, I'm gonna see how I can look, how it's gonna look embroidery floss on the 8 cloth with a continental stitch from a cross stitch chart. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna try that. So hopefully somewhere before Christmas I can get into this needlepoint stitch, which is the Byzantine stitch right here. Okay. Future plans. The Byzantine stitch. This stitch, my goodness, this needlepoint stitch, of course the tent stitch is well known if you know about needlepoint. That's what you see. If you see needlepoint, the majority of the needlepoint you're going to see is tent stitch, the continental stitch. But this stitch right here is the Byzantine stitch. I was just kind of practicing with this. This is one of the other ones I would like to get a tutorial up for. This stitch became so popular. I think a lot with plastic canvas, but also with like wall hangings. This stitch just became super popular. Like you could go into people's house and see tissue box covers with this stitch, or possibly pillows. This particular stitch, Byzantine stitch, easy and fun. Very easy, very fun. But it's to, figure out a way where it's nice and clear and you can properly see the tutorial. It's always kind of the struggle for me, right? But this is a really super fun stitch. You can make it one color, you can make it a bunch of colors, you can add it in with other stitches. That's the future plans, okay? A tutorial on the Byzantine stitch. I can't remember what this stitch is. I do not remember what this stitch is that I'm pointing at right here. I don't remember the name of the stitch. And typically what happens, like of course, most people, I practice before I make the tutorial, okay? I practice the stitches, learn the stitches before I make the tutorial. It's not necessarily that I'm going to put those stitches immediately into a project or anything. I'm just offering the tutorial because this particular medium or this particular thing is really, you can have a lot of fun with this, and it can be very budget friendly depending on how you work it out. But it definitely can be very budget friendly, right? So it's like you can do something, have fun, build some patience a little bit, get your art therapy if that's it for you, and you can make some small items. You could go get the cloth. That's going to probably be the most expensive investment for you, really. But if you're making this out of a cross stitch book also, but I added some colors. It's a vintage book, and I was like, I washed this the other day. Okay, I was like, it was getting real dirty because it's on my buffet, and just these things gonna get dirty. A lot of dust come through. I live in the city, and I washed this. I was like, it looks dirty. So I gently just ran it under the water. I used a little bit of soap, I think, if I remember, and it came up looking really clean. And this part here, this blue part, is acrylic. This darker blue is 100% wool. So I didn't want to use too much hot water because it might get like felted. but I actually washed it. Put this on plastic canvas, okay? And I didn't finish the back. I could have glued some felt. I thought about maybe trying to sew some felt on. Bought some felt at a Dollarama. I don't know, it's just rough. I just didn't like it. I'll try again maybe, right? But no one's looking at the back of my poster, okay? So these projects are just quick, fun. You buy a couple skeins of yarn, 2 or 3 skeins of yarn, or little minis, and this will go a far way for you with these kind of projects. And you'll have hours of fun, real budget friendly, and yeah, maybe it's even art therapy. So one day I'm going to get a little bit more into. I'm doing a William Morris uh, that was interpreted. William Morris needlepoint that was interpreted. William Morris was some famous dude, okay, real famous, like for the arts and crafts movement, textiles, I think even furniture, and also needlepoint tapestries. And he was back in the day. And these people went to Britain. They're needlepoint artists themselves, and they interpreted some of his work. So one day, I want to do a video on some of the things they said in the book, and just read an excerpt from that piece, and just show you a little bit of the book. It's a, well, I guess you call these books now vintage. All right, when I finish up that crochet, ta-da! And this is a weekend project. It could be one day. Depends on how quick you crochet and how much you sit to your crochet. So this could be a one-day project. For some people, I crochet. Sometimes I crochet fast, but I don't keep consistency. I slow down. So I'm just like, that's maybe a one-day project for some people. Uh, you know, I'll say one-day project. I would think maybe 2 days, maybe. So if you're making 4 or 5 on the weekend or something like that, or after work, you can easily get these done in I guess a month. I'm, just guessing for the time. But this is also one of the things I like about mosaic. Oddly enough, if there's enough double crochets, it has single crochets. You use a single crochet back. This is all back loop only. Use a single crochet except for the toe part. Use a single crochet, but because it has enough double crochets in the work, it builds quicker. So there's single crochets and there's double crochets, but the project builds faster. Unlike if you were only doing single crochets. Okay, so you get a lot of visual build quickly, more or less, and you get to see what's happening, and it keeps you motivated and interesting faster. And let's say if you were doing a single crochet color work project, mosaic crochet is lovely, absolutely lovely. One of my favorite methods. All right, that's the update for now. Oh, what's the next one? The shawl. Okay. All right, sorry about that. I got the shawl. I'm not going to do a work in progress about everything I have in progress, okay? Like, yeah. But I would say maybe about 10 projects, fiber. Maybe. About 10 fiber projects, I probably have a work in progress. That's about as much as I can take without it starting to feel like the book report or the homework I keep putting off. So, here go the shawl. I really think this shawl gonna work well with jeans. I really do. So, I have on my blue jeans, and you know, this top is probably not the deal, but I don't know. Can you see what's happening here? Here is, I don't have the wide angle, if you will. All right, so I have to go all the way back for you to see the progress. Maybe this is where the shawl is at right now. Okay. And it's gonna need a steam mount. So let's see if I can come down a little bit. I have the mesh row right there. This is the 3 double crochet cluster, and then this is all single crochet. Okay, this is how much I have left of the ball. I'm working on a 3.0 millimeter hook. I don't buy fancy hooks. My hook's out the Dollarama. Okay, and worked just fine for me. And I had to get used to a handle because I crocheted for years without a handle on the crochet hook. But once I got used to it, I'm like, I don't know if I could go back to crocheting without a handle on the crochet hook. It's weird how that works. But I do crochet the filet crochet in a 1.5 millimeter hook. There's no handle on that. And so here's where the shawl is right now, okay? Wild. But I think it's gonna go with my jeans really well, okay? See how it's shaping up? I really have to a raglan knitted sweater. Then I decided to abandon that project to frog, and I have a whole bunch of this yarn to frog. So I have a lot more yarn to work with, and if this yarn goes the full length of my arms, lovely. I really want this one to get big, but I don't know, okay? Because I don't know how it's gonna, if it's gonna get bigger, how big it's gonna get. Right, so this area right here is a little row there. There's a single crochet. There's the cluster, and then there's a single crochet, and it's more on the wingy side instead of heavily triangular. So when you go wingy, you increase quicker, so it has a tendency to come down lengthwise quicker, right? Instead of this kind of widthwise. Here, when you're doing the triangle, it's way more even. But this is how, and it's a straight triangle, but this is how I want it. A little bit more wingy, and ta-da! It kind of looks like it's trying to do this, but then when you look at it like this, you're like, this is wild. I think this is gonna really go quite nicely with the jeans, actually. And I have on my jeans and a shirt. I think it's gonna go quite nicely with the jeans. Huh? Just gonna get a deep blocking, steam, the steam, maybe with a wet cloth over it. That's why I'm going to get a deep blocking when I get them to relax the stitches. Okay, so yeah, that's my update on my shawl. One day I'll show you the other projects. I ain't trying to keep you in suspense if you're interested at all, but it's like, I'm not ready to deal with the other projects I have on hold as yet, you know? So, if you check out my needlepoint, you see how you can see more of the patterning of the stitches when I fold this. Check out my other videos. You'll see I have to tablecloth this on the needlepoint video. That's another work in progress. All right, bye for now. Hope all is well. I don't remember what's going on this weekend. I haven't looked it up. Well, I haven't looked it up to see what's going on this weekend in San Francisco and San Francisco. Wow. Where'd that come from? In Toronto, to check out what the festivals are for this weekend. But I am sure there is some. And probably tonight, this evening, probably starting Friday too. I'm sure there's some festivals and events somewhere in Toronto all summer long. This goes on. And you might want to check out Harborfront Center's calendar because they have quite a few continual, smaller, very small venues, very intimate, personal type venues that are free. Okay? Well, bye for now. God bless you. Take care. And yeah, thanks for joining me.